Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Strive 305 podcast. Tico Casamayor here from AC Graphics. My co-host, Ervans Agustin from Urban Impact Lab. And today we have a spectacular guest. You're going to love this, and you're going to learn a lot. So I want everybody to be focused, get a pencil out, get a paper out, because I learned from this guy since I was 15 years old. So today's your turn, and that's why we brought him here to you. So let me get our thank yous out. Thank you, Mayor Manny Sid. Thank you, Mayor Levine Cava.
You said Mayor Manny Sid?
Oh, he was my mayor for 8 years, so I can call. I'm allowed to call him mayor still. Mayor Levine Cava for giving us the Strive 305 initiative to get us out here. Thank you to your district. Our guest district commissioner is Raquel Regalado. So thank you to Raquel Regalado. She's our commissioner. Cool. We always give our commissioners a shout out.
That's where your offices are located?
Our offices are in Coral Gables, but I live
in South Miami, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I looked up your address.
South border of South Miami.
I looked up your address, and it's Raquel. She's a friend as well.
So we got to thank Raquel.
And yeah, I believe she's also getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. No, am I right? I think
Which one?
Into the Arbiters Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And including yourself. You didn't mention that, dude.
No. I'm humble. I don't talk about those things. I'm not going to say that I'm getting inducted into the Arbiters Hall of Fame.
Tico Casamayor. He's trying to be humble.
February 16th.
But like, it's official. Like, they have an entire process at the Arbiter Hot Dogs to apply to become part of their Hall of Fame. But like, there's an application. They have a board. It's like an actual real process. It's not like you just eat hot dogs and that's how you get in. But so congratulations on that. It's not insignificant.
I'm honored.
I'm surprised he hasn't bragged about that.
No, never.
You can see the back of his T-shirt.
It says it on the back. Meet me at Arbiter. We also have Wells Fargo, who funds our website. The website is key to the Strive 305 initiative.
You got to thank the people
where all
with
the
money.
resources are, is where all the information is. You guys go there, you don't even need to watch this show. I'm kidding, you need to watch the show. And then, of course, our boys, Grant Miller, Michael Miller, Community News. Without them, we wouldn't even have this location. We wouldn't be out there. You guys wouldn't be seeing us. But okay, let's get going. Our guest, George Lopez Garcia. Who is George Lopez Garcia? He's an attorney.
Over here?
He's an attorney. I know, but they want to know who is George Lopez Garcia and why would you bring this attorney? Well, I bring him because I have experience with him, like I said, since I was 15 years old. This guy, before we were adults, he taught me how to lease a car. He taught me that leasing a pre-owned vehicle is a lot cheaper than leasing a brand new one, and you get the same pimp status if that's what you're looking for. You know, he taught me about business, how to open a business, how to create a corporation, how not to make mistakes. And I'll share some mistakes that people have made throughout the show, which is why it's critical when you're opening a small business, when you have a small business, when you want to exit a small business, you need to have legal advice. It'll save you so much money, so many headaches in so many different ways. You know, Ervans, of course, is our smart one. He's going to ask all the important questions today. But Ervans, if you open up a corporation, you need to do it the correct way in the beginning and set up your books and set up everything. You have to have an annual, what's it called, Annual
report and have annual minutes in the corporate book in order to maintain corporate status.
Well, I didn't know that. And for 10 years, I had my company without doing that. And then for some reason, I needed to have them. And I had to pay, I don't know how much money to get 10 backlogged annual reports. You know what I mean? I had to do, for every year, we had to go backwards and we had to show the growth. It's a mission, but if you do it every year, it's simple. And you can have an attorney he'll explain it to you. He's not going to even do it for you because he never told you, he never charged me to do anything. He just explained it, do it. You have that. When you're in the business, you have to have articles. Articles are huge. You have to have an exit strategy. Exit strategy is the most important thing. And that I've actually advised people because I learned him. People, Tico, what do I do when I open up a business? Or a partnership? Ervans and I, when we did this partnership, the first thing you sit down and talk about is that exit strategy. If you have that set up beforehand, you save yourself tons of headaches, possible fights and arguments. Ervans and I have already decided that if we ever end the show, he's going to take all the credit. He's going to be the famous one. We already decided before we started the show.
I'm just here for the tacos.
We're here for the tacos. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I just got so much today. But Ervans is going to get all the paparazzi, all the girls. They're all his. And I just leave, with my name on the bottom of the show. But if you prepare your corporation with an exit strategy, if you have a partner, even if you don't have a partner, I got so much on this that it drives me nuts. Even if you don't have a partner, if it's all prepared and you think about all the possible issues you could have with a partner, you can get into a fight. Or let's say you're best friends for life. You're never going to fight. One of you gets married. Everything changes.
Or something just happens. Like you get sick or something.
You're married.
Correct.
This is something you don't know when you're young. You open up your business, your partner. George and I are partners. We open up. He gets married. I get married. Everything is great. I can't stand his wife, though, because she's annoying as hell, right? If he dies on me, guess who's my partner? If we don't have buy-sell agreements in place,
She
guess who
is.
my partner is?
She
His
is.
wife. And what if she's a Hollywood housewife that there goes the business, there goes the money, and there goes everything. So anyways, all that's what I want you guys to talk about today and share. But before I let you guys go at it, we have our sponsor today. This is next level. Anthony, show him the wide shot. Look
Did
at
you
this.
see all this, Zoni?
Are you kidding me? Look how decorated this is. This is La Diosa Taqueria. I'm also very familiar with them because I eat a lot of Diosa Taqueria. I have one in my neighborhood. We have one on 8th Street.
I'm doing ASMR.
Explain.
Oh, I don't know. That's what my kids say. They just watch their shows and people make random noises.
And
I
just
don't
eat
know
it.
why they
Oh,
relax this, but
I love it. It's spectacular. But I don't know how to explain all this. Come here.
For the
Come here.
record, though,
Yodi, come here, please.
this is
We're going to bring him up here because there's no way in the world I'm going to explain to you what all these things are, but I can't wait to
I'm coming too, baby. I'm coming. Hey,
Don't go wide.
Miller.
Don't go wide. He's going to come out. Oh, there goes the food.
what is this?
This is really good, just for the record.
That is La Gringa. La Gringa is
What about a gringo?
Yeah.
I'm a gringo.
Well, you're eating a gringo, buddy.
You picked that one automatically.
quesadilla style tacos. That's why they call it La Gringa.
Hey, I scared Grant away. Is that possible?
He has food. He didn't need you.
So what else we got? We got La Gringa. I know that.
So that's La Gringa. There's guacamole chips. Those are the homemade corn tortillas. They call it totopos in Mexico. This is the nachos with chicken. We do our homemade cheese with like sharp jalapenos. On it. So it will be a little spicy. This is the campechano tacos, which is steak, chorizo, shredded chicharrón on top, and pico de gallo.
My mother's watering.
And that's our top seller, is the birria.
Iberia.
Birria is 3 days marinated, brisket, chopped ribs, and a chuck pork roast. A slow braise for 12 hours, and then we got the broth on the side so you can dip the taco.
Holy crap. What's
Wow.
that one?
That's La Gringa as well.
That's the
They're
gringa.
both gringas?
Yeah.
And what's
Yeah.
inside the gringa?
La Gringa al pastor. So
Which
you
is-
can do La Gringa with any protein, but we do it al pastor.
Which is the grandma one? The recipe.
The thing is, our first location we opened on 8th Street. So our concept is it's fully Mexican, but in honor of Calle Ocho and Cubans, we do have a ropa vieja taco with some fried plantains and chicharrón on the top.
That's my wife's
Wow.
favorite. Every
Yes.
time. Every time it's
Sounds
down.
good.
And if I try to take a little piece, I get smacked.
It tastes better than it sounds. This sounds really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were
Everything
just
the thing is that everything is homemade. We work with local providers, and then our prep ladies from Oaxaca, Mexico. So she had the recipe on point.
wow.
Spectacular. Quickly, 2 locations. Where they at?
Where are you
One in
located?
Calle Ocho, one in Miami Lakes. The one in Calle Ocho is like 1 block away from Versailles de la Carreta.
So you have your
Awesome.
Mexican, you'll get your cortadito afterwards, you're ready for the day. Spectacular. And in Miami Lakes, it's the old Beverly Hills location
Yeah.
in Miami
Oh,
Lakes.
okay.
Yeah, it used to be in Beverly Hills though.
Yeah.
Thanks so much
Nice.
for
All right,
coming.
get the hell out of here. We
Thank
gotta
you.
take we gotta milk George for information. Thank God that Orvans, you asked all the questions while I eat. All right, let's go. Let's do it. I already gave a bunch of information, but I'll let Orvans do the smart stuff and then George talk a little bit. He hates it because I never shut up. Go.
Really? I didn't notice.
You didn't notice
Didn't
after all 15 for all this time? So, first of all, thanks for coming on the
Oh,
show.
thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being on.
And what type of law do you practice?
So
Just for-
basically, I concentrate in the areas of real estate and corporate law,
Okay.
which oftentimes go hand in hand in many of the different investments available here in the South Florida area.
and how did you? Was it something you always knew you wanted to do? Just so,
I did. As soon as I got involved in law and graduated from law school, I always knew that my calling was transactional law. I was exposed a bit to litigation, but I always knew inside that eventually I'd wind up doing transactional law, and everything aligned. Shortly after graduating, and here we are, 30 plus years after.
Wow.
In the practice.
And then, so I mean, like, you've known Tico for X amount of time.
Well,
and-
usually the answer is too long, but I think we go back, as he says, to like 15 years old or so, right?
Yes,
And he
sir.
always says I'm very much older, but I'm only older by a year. But he keeps on saying
When you're
that.
15, that's a big difference.
Yeah, right.
But watching him evolve in his business, and then you also in your practice, what are some of the key things like for small business starting out that you?
Sure. Well, look, a lot of times.
First 3 things you tell them.
Sure. The first thing is that to start a business, you have to do your due diligence for your team before anything else. So You have to.
And when you
be-
say your team, who are you referring to?
I'm referring to your attorney. I'm referring to your accountant. I'm referring to a realtor, perhaps, that will be looking for business purchase opportunities or anything in that realm. But I think you need to get that team established. I think you need to have an expectation of how the communication will go. I find that a lot of people get held up in moving forward and making decisions because they don't get the feedback or the reply soon enough from their experts.
Right.
And I think it's very important that they have people that they feel comfortable with to move forward and get the right advice. The excitement of opening up a business is amazing. You're on adrenaline. You want to get out there and just conquer the world. But like Tico was saying, you have to be very cautious into setting up a structure that protects you if things go wrong. You have to be very cautious in entering into contracts where you're offering personal guarantees for marketing services. If you lease a space, there is a long laundry list of things you have to be careful if you lease a commercial space. And that is probably, I would say from my experience, the two biggest things that I see that are problems: commercial leases, people that are unaware of terms that they have committed to, and partnerships changing and not knowing that your partner could sell his share to somebody else, and all of a sudden you have a partner you never knew.
Expected, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I got two things. I got to jump in. I'm sorry I'm doing it again.
Do it.
Number one, the lease part. The lease, you don't even think of it because you're always excited when you're starting. And we have stories. Arvante and I have stories of people that have told us, we get our place. We finally landed. And and you're excited. You're competing with somebody else for the spot. You get it. That you beat out the person. You sign your lease because you want to do it right away. You're in. We know someone that spent $150,000, fixed up their place.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And 1 year lease ended. They didn't have, it wasn't renewable.
So no
the guy
options
goes,
for
well, thank you very much for
fixing my
support.
space for me.
You're out. What do you mean? And he couldn't fight. There's nothing they can do. That guy got a brand new space all built out and was able now to lease it for a lot more money to somebody else, and that person was out.
Right.
That's one of the most important things we try to tell our people.
And I'll add something to that, which is always something that I advise my clients when they're looking for space. You'll rarely not have a landlord tell you that they have multiple parties interested in the space. That's just
Right.
the way that the space
It's
is
not in their
marketed.
best interest to tell you.
Okay, so what I always advise my clients is do not delay entering into a letter of intent. A letter of intent is basically a letter which will reflect the major terms of the lease agreement, but it will not be a binding agreement in and of itself, but create an exclusivity to deal with each other party, and at least you secure that you're in the game negotiating the lease. If you do not come up with all the terms that are beneficial, you're not obligated, but at least you don't lose the opportunity
Right.
to get in.
Yeah.
And I think that's where dragging one's feet into the letter of intent is where I've seen most of my clients lose out on spaces that they're
Yeah.
interested in.
Some people don't even know that's an option. They just think they have to sign.
Exactly, and that goes back to
Understanding and having the right
and
team.
having the right team.
So what do you say to people, because what I've heard many times is a lot of people attorneys are too expensive, or
Of course. Of course.
What would you say to somebody?
Well, I'll
in
say,
that
I mean, on a comedic thing, I mean, there's a Spanish saying that is "lo barato sale caro," and it roughly translates what is cheap usually ends up being expensive. So when you cut corners, you run that risk. And I
Yeah.
always tell the clients the same thing: if you get away with the transaction and everything goes smoothly, and you avoided legal fees, that's great. But it's almost like deciding not to go to the doctor for a checkup. If you're healthy, then you just wasted your copay. So
Right.
I think you're basically insuring yourself, and perhaps once you've developed sufficient knowledge in an industry, I can understand that savvy investors will bring in attorneys at a different time of the day.
Right, because
Right.
they have enough experience on
But
their
if
own.
you're starting out and you're rolling the dice, it's generally not advisable. And again, fees need to be discussed. I think a lot of people have that perception that
with
legal fees will be very high.
with the attorneys and
Yes.
others, that's right.
And I think it's very important to discuss and have full transparency. I think a lot of people are a little bit shy or think it's not proper etiquette to question fees. It's part of a service that's being provided, and I think it should be very clear, laid out, confirmed in writing, and that way there's no doubts.
Yeah, and if it doesn't suit you or meet your needs, or if you just don't work with them as an individual, you can find somebody else. It's not
Correct.
And
correct.
and I think a lot of times we, as individuals, like we defer to people who are in perceived power, like lawyers or accountants and people, just because you may not know, but they work for you. And what if someone's looking for a lawyer? What are some basic questions they should ask?
Well, they should ask, in order to have correct expectations, how will the communication go? If you send the lawyer an email, when should you expect a reply? If you call them and leave a message, when should you expect a reply? And very important, once you engage the services of an attorney, particularly within a larger firm, am I going to be dealing with that particular attorney? Because many times you engage the services of the firm,
right,
and you are delegated to associates, which I'm not criticizing. But at least
so you don't even get to talk to the person that you end up talking to.
Many times that could happen, and you simply deal with the assistants and never deal with the attorney that you thought you were going to be dealing with on a consistent basis.
And why would that make a difference?
That makes a difference because usually the attorney you dealt with initially has more experience,
right,
and you had some type of relationship going in, while maybe the parties that come in afterwards may not be up to speed on the transaction, may not have the years of experience, and the expectations of communication were not discussed with them in particular.
Right.
You discussed them with another.
So they could be just making different decisions or informing you incorrectly because they don't have the full context. Correct. As you.
Correct.
Very interesting. And for people who have been in business for a while, what is something that, like I've been in business 12 years. How long have you been in business, Chico?
I'm not saying.
Can he say this publicly? I think you can plead the fifth.
I'm in denial. More than 20 years, I'll say.
So, with some people like us who do have some experience in business, what is something that we take for granted about lawyers and others?
Sure.
Because I have a lawyer that I had, but I didn't reach out as often as I could, and that's what I'm getting at. Is
right.
Like many times, like you don't realize you can and should be asking these questions, and you just keep doing things yourself, and then you find out later that I could have just asked my attorney. But like, what are some common things or things on average that business people feel like they don't have to do on their own that they can engage an attorney about?
Look, I'll explain to you. If you're a business, you're leasing out a space, you're going to have renewals come up. So those are going to be legal documents that are binding. I think a lot of existing business owners will just sign them without really knowing what they're signing. I think it's good to be aware. I think what Tico mentioned earlier is probably the clause that gets left out of most contracts, and it has to be the out clause. Business is ever changing. It's consistently in motion. You don't know if you need to grow. You don't need to know if you need to shrink back your staff and get a smaller space. So you have to make sure that there's a way that you have that option available.
Yeah, he did it again. Now he engaged me. See, I told you guys, don't engage me because these are things that are personal to me, and that he helped me personally with back in the day. If you, or Vons, do you have a partner?
Yeah.
Your wife?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys will sit down and think about everything that can go wrong. You have somebody like him, an experienced business attorney that's seen everything that's gone wrong, he will tell you. And it's not to create problems. It's to have them all written down and to say, that'll never happen to us. We're best friends. We're husband and wife. Or my best friend and I would never have these issues. But if he gives you a list of all the things that can go wrong, again, she meets Denzel Washington and trades you for him. I would. You never know.
You never know.
She could meet him. He could fall in love with her. And okay, what will happen? And you can write that down. What happens if my wife meets Denzel Washington and leaves me for him? And you guys have you're prepared with the business. If not, you could lose the business. In every little thing, as much as you can think of, you do it together as a fun exercise with your partner. Right. He feeds you the information. He's the bad guy. You and I in a business, right? He's telling us, hey, guys, what if you do the podcast and you guys are together and you own the podcast and one of you loses your voice and can't talk anymore? One of you wins the lotto and wants to move to Spain. What happens to Irvance? Hey, no, that's my podcast. We're ending it because I said we're ending it. Or I sell my spot to a guy that's more inappropriate than me if possible, and now your partner is inappropriate. What you have to have, you can protect yourself, buy-sell agreements, and the great one is, you taught me this. What is it? So if we're partners, and I want to sell the business, and I get an offer, he has right of first refusal.
Right, if you're
So if I get some guy that's willing to give me $1 million from this spot in the table, you go, thank you, I'll buy it and sell it to my wife. I want my wife there.
Correct.
But you have the ability to
have
buy
the
it.
option.
Whereas if not, I can sell it and you're shit out of luck, and now I get I do what I want. So those things are so important to talk about in the beginning. Sometimes once you're in the business, let's say somebody's listening to this now and they've been in the business 10 years with their partner. Still, you can still do it,
Yeah,
and
it's
you just
never-
create,
you can
right,
still
put
do
that
it.
in your
Too late.
articles.
Yeah.
It's
And you
almost
update
like
all that.
thinking about it, and again, it's a great comparison to a marriage. When you get married, you're going to have a prenup agreement, but subsequently you can have a postnup agreement, right? So a postnuptial agreement,
That's
and
true.
as everything evolved, you can address those assets. My personal recommendation is that for the betterment of your marriage, I would not institute the Denzel clause on the contract, but it's
You
up
wouldn't
to
call
you.
it that?
Hey man, I would. I think I'd.
I guess
Never mind.
Nico
I'm not
has a
saying.
Denzel clause
That's very
in his.
specific, so I don't know what he thinks about, but that's,
Whatever. I'd probably, if Denzel wanted me, I'd leave my wife for Denzel. Just don't tell her I said.
I think we may have to pay Denzel for using
I
his
was about
name
to say,
today
you
so
said at
much.
least 12 times already.
Hey, I didn't say his last name.
So, looking forward, like as Tico mentioned, you're in business, things are going well, but many times you don't think where things are going or what may happen. How does a business plan for an exit strategy or for?
Of course. Well, the business has to see where it's at. It has to have, again, the concept of a business plan, it has to be constantly evolving. So the business plan that you have going in is not the same as you have in year
Yeah.
5, year 10, year 15, year 20. So recognizing what you're targeting is very important. Now, recognizing what value you've created is very important. Because a
Right.
lot of business owners think that, other people sell their businesses, I can't sell my business. Most businesses have some type of value that is a commodity that somebody's willing to buy and pay for. So I think if you're further in already, established, I think you have to take a look at that. You have to take a look at retirement products. I think a lot of the times we spend our lives worrying about today's expenses and not worried about putting money away for the future. I think
Yeah.
you have to meet with a financial planner and see about the 401k or see about the IRAs and ways that you can start creating almost like a quasi-retirement while still being active.
Right.
So I think all of those things are extremely important. I think you need to have incredible communication with your staff if you're ever in the position that you're considering a sale, a merger, closing shop for retirement. That's extremely important because a lot of the times these people are more than just workers. They're family. They've been with you for I don't know how many years. I personally have my staff with me, one of them since 1999, the other one since 2004. So before making any major
that's
move,
family
I think
now.
it's only fitting that you
And
keep
stressful.
them in the communication.
So your decisions become,
Yeah.
They
affects
affect
their lives.
multiple, right?
Right.
And
So
that's
been together
it's
for
hard.
27 years, one person you're working with. That's
yes,
family.
And you see them probably more than you do your own family because of the hours you're there.
Yeah.
Exactly. My family sometimes is very happy about that.
Yeah, same. Okay, I have another one for you because you mentioned all the different things. This is a cool thing that you can do because I didn't hear him say this. You have your buy-sell agreement that we mentioned, right? Mm-hmm. I can put a life insurance policy on you, very inexpensive, because if you die on me, this podcast is going to fail. I'm going to have to hire somebody. Where am I going to get the money?
Denzel, remember?
I know, but how much is he's going to cost me money, right? But if I have a $5 million policy on you,
Right.
that money
And
I
then you can
use
use
to
those
hire
dollars.
him.
Right, you have
Get
those
it?
dollars.
Same with the business, because you don't realize what's the most valuable person in the business. You, your wife, me,
Yeah.
my dad, whatever. So my father and I, we have buy-sell agreements on each other. We have life insurance policies on each other. Another thing you can do with a life insurance policy, my father's got a wife. If he dies, she owns his assets. It's written up that automatically that life insurance policy will fund the company. The company will buy her out.
Correct.
She basically gets the
So
life
you-
insurance policy, but it's a transaction that buys her out, so she's not my partner, and she gets the money that she wants, and it's a
Right.
predetermined amount.
Right.
So that you're not hit with some audit, not audit, or
Correct.
some CPA comes and says, "Oh, this company's worth $40 million." I go, "It's
Right.
worth $40 million because I exist."
Right.
But then she's going to want $20 million. So all that can be
Right.
predetermined.
And if you don't have a number, at least you have a formula.
Right.
in place to get to
Right.
that number, and that's very important. Now, if you guys ever do that he gets the policy on you, I wouldn't go to the parking lot. But I would.
Yeah, that's the
I can run faster than him. It's okay.
You gotta be. The only thing is, you can't take out a policy that's more valuable to me than you, because then I'm gonna prefer you be dead. So that's where you balance out. You know.
We're projecting, dude. We're projecting.
Yeah,
know,
5
I know.
million was an ambitious amount, I thought, but hey, I'm just saying.
We work for food. Do you see this?
Pretty
We
sure.
work for
I'm pretty
food.
sure Grant Miller's got policies on us, because without us, his podcast business would go just right down the toilet. So, just so you know.
Where's the raffle that we get free Mexican food for the rest of the?
I don't know, but I've never eaten so much in a shoot. You guys are.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
you've
hide
been
it,
eating all the
but
time.
Anthony's a little. I'm not gonna say shit because about what, but he's a little shit because he keeps putting me every time I stick. When I go, he puts me on camera. But I've never eaten so much on a podcast. It's like I can't.
It is great. And
Yes.
just small side note, we were before the podcast. We were saying the great test for guacamole.
Yeah.
Is one, guacamole is such a simple thing, but it's so easy to mess up, and that's usually one of the first things I go and I test when I go to places, and like this is one of the best guacamoles I've had, and I just wanted to say that. It also gives me an excuse to eat this.
What about the test? You gave me the test is check with Irvon's.
No, to taste the guacamole
Oh,
at the
to know if
Mexican
the place
places.
is-
That's usually because you get the simple dishes. People always ignore it.
Yeah.
And
No, that's the
you
first
start
thing
with the simple
that's my
dishes
go-to.
when you go to the
I
Mexican
go to the-
places. The guacamole and the chips. You heard the crunch.
Yep.
And
But
you
those
saw
are
how
homemade. They
heavy-
make theirs homemade.
Yeah,
which
and
is
it's
another
properly
mental crazy
salted,
thing
and
they
it's
do.
good.
No,
But I'm
you
just
want to know
saying, I
something
just had to
funny?
test
So
it.
I know the chef at this place, super cool guy. He's in the audience, and he got himself, he trained himself. He lost how much weight did you lose, G?
100 and no, how much was it? It was 205.
Wow.
He
You
lost
lost
Yes, I'll
205?
show you pictures. He lost 205
Wow.
pounds. So
Congratulations, dude.
you can go to a
That's
Mexican.
a whole separate person.
Incredible.
I was at
It could be two people.
380. Now I'm at 197.
He was how much did you say? 380? How much?
Yeah.
380.
He was 380. He's now 197 because
Congrats,
he's
dude.
not on mic. They can't hear him. So just so you get an idea. So my point is, I go to La Diosa because I love to go there frequently, and he has a dish that he makes for me, which is my grilled chicken with vegetables with the Mexican taste, and I can go healthy if you want. You don't have to. Of course, the only thing I cannot not eat is the guac and chips. So I do that, and then I do that, and then when I do my cheat meals, that's when I go nuts on the fajitas and the rest of the stuff. But just so you know, I know they're going to get mad at me for giving away my diet secrets or his diet secrets. But it's important to know because a lot of people say, "Oh, no, I got to eat clean," or that's how I think. Eat clean all the time. You could eat clean anywhere you want, especially here because everything's homemade.
Yeah.
You can pick and choose and make your meal. He's going to kill you because he charges me triple every time I do it, but I don't care. It's delicious and it's healthy. Okay, sorry, we went off topic. Back to George.
Yes.
George, go.
That's
Tell
really
us
good.
anything. Tell me something. Tell me anything else that we didn't talk about that's important to our listeners because they don't want to talk about food songs.
Okay.
They want to talk about.
One thing I will add
Yes.
is that I'll speak for myself. Many times growing up, like everyone has, attorneys have a reputation or there's a lot of baggage that come with it, and it's just in the past 10 years since I've been in business where I've met a lot of great attorneys and who have helped me with so many different things in many different ways, and I'm just curious for you, like, did you always want to go into law, or?
I was always curious about it. But as I got to the end of my undergrad studies, I did think it was the right move. And one of the things is transactional law allows me to put both of those educational paths together.
Like business and
law.
and
You're
law.
basically creating a business that provides legal services of long-standing relationships. That's what I enjoy about my practice. A lot of times you could have a practice that is a one and done. You representing somebody in a criminal action, or you representing somebody in an immigration action, or a divorce, or a slip and fall. But it's not a repeat client.
Right.
So for me, I take great pleasure. And one of the things that's amazing at this point, to not age myself too much, is when you wind up doing closings for the children of your clients and their first homes, and that's just very humbling and,
Yeah.
and something that gives me great pleasure.
Yeah, especially when you're raising somebody like Tico, and you've raised him, and seen him grow up this whole time.
Yes,
we
yeah.
we've all here. I've been born in the 1900s, as my kids say. So it's amazing to see it all just evolve and grow. But also for you, just being able to create, help them create and put things in place that allow their businesses to thrive and grow. If someone was, as a person who owns their own practice, what is something that surprised you when you're trying to start your
What
business?
surprised me is how much is involved in running an office. I think a lot of the times we're enamored and excited about getting a business going, but you have to still take care of the paperwork.
Yeah, it is
You have
business.
to take care of all of the details. They don't take care of themselves. And I think one of the most delicate balances, and this is what happens to a lot of businesses, whether you bring in extra help too early or bring in extra help too late. And that's a timing issue, it's a cash flow issue, and it's something that you really have to sit down, again, with the right professional. You may have that meeting with your CPA to analyze the cash flow and determine when would be the right time to bring in extra help, because it could hurt you both ways.
It is a balance, yeah, because sometimes you need the help to help bring in more money, but if you don't have the money to offset or pay, then you're either going to hurt you could potentially hurt yourself. So it is a delicate needle that we have to thread. Were you asking something?
No, look at the clock. We did it again. We're out of time, but the good thing is when we end this podcast, we get to eat.
I was about to say, I've been eating the whole
for the
time.
first time, I can't wait to end this thing. But did you notice something that happened when he was talking here at the end? What is an attorney? An attorney is a small business.
They are.
An attorney is another one of us. They're small businesses as well, and they go through the same struggles, and they have the same issues, which is the beauty of having an attorney that's a small, and the same. You mentioned real estate closings.
Yes.
You can go to a title company for a closing, but you can go to an attorney for a closing.
Of course,
and it
people
costs the same.
People associate that title insurance is only done by a title company. That's incorrect.
I learned that
My
one.
law firm insures title through our agency is the firm.
I actually did not know that.
Yes, and you have an attorney that's doing your title,
Right.
not
Yeah.
to kill the title companies, but if you have the opportunity and you have the one that's willing and it doesn't cost you anymore, go
Yeah.
to an attorney.
Or he
that
has
you
the
have everything.
expertise.
You get the
Yeah.
bonus legal services as part of the transaction for issuing the title.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
I was going to say two things. One, you should totally list your services on the Strive Through 5 website if you haven't already, because I think that there's a lot of people who definitely would need your services and your expertise. And two, where do people find your law firm?
We are in Coral Gables, 1450 Madruga Avenue, Suite 408, Coral Gables, Florida 33146.
You have a website?
Our office number, his son is actually
Yeah.
of all people.
Don't even get me going because
You don't have a website?
No, he helps me, but he won't let me help him. He doesn't have a Google business profile. He doesn't have a website. I want to kill him.
Which shows
he just
you
got an Instagram.
shows you how marketing is amazing.
I was
through
about to
referral
say.
sources.
I was about to say
That
that's
shows
all,
you something.
That's
That
word of
shows you
mouth. If
something.
you've been in business this long, then
Yeah,
you're,
but
you're
he
still
comes
doing
back from the
something right.
1900s. We're in the 2020s now, so he's got to get updated.
So let me give you the office number is 305-662-2525, and by the next time we're all together, I'm sure his son would have already wrapped up a beautiful.
What's the name of your
webpage,
What's the name of your firm? If someone Googles you,
Jorge Luis Lopez Garcia, PA.
awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the show
Thank
today.
you so much, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Great to be on.
By the way, University of Miami graduates.
Yes,
So
go
Go
Canes.
you.
some of you might hear this after the game, but if you haven't, and if you're listening to it live,
Go
it's before
you.
the game.
Should we do the Go Canes?
No, we have to.
You
Oh,
have to.
yeah.
Go Canes.
Make him do it too. There you go.
Go Canes.
All right. So here we go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.